This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video on my own personal YouTube channel today. The first since May Bank Holiday. Thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to watch the video. It's always very much appreciated. What I've got for coming up today is a review of some more 2025 classics. You know, they come thick and fast at this time of the year all around the world. And this video is going to take a focus on taking a look at classics that took place in April 2025, as well as one that took place in early May of this year, less than 1 week ago. What I've got coming up is we're going to take a look at 4 classics. We're going to take a look at the final 2 classics out in New South Wales at Randwick, I think they both were. Then we're going to take a look at the first classics of the Japanese 2025 season. We're going to take a look at the Japanese 1000 and 2000 Guineas. And then we're going to go back to Australia and take a look at the 2 classics that took place in South Australia over at Morphettville. 6 races in total for you today. Also, we're going to take a look at the various Classic Watch 25 identified horses, if any, that turned up in each race. I'll give a quick view and appraisal of the results of each race, even if no Classic Watch 2025 horses have actually took part in the race. And then after we've taken a look at those 6 classics, we will be able to get on with our lives, I think. The first race, like I said, we're going to go back all the way until I think it was the first week in April. Let me just take a quick look at when that race was. On the 5th of April, we're going to take a look at the Australian Derby, a race that took part on the 5th of April. The Australian Derby, and that race held at Randwick. Oh, sorry, there's somebody at the door. Let me just go and answer the door, and I'll be back shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back. Yes, apologies for that. We should now be ready to go and take a look at the first race. We're going to take a look at the Australian Derby, which was held at Randwick, and then we will take a look at the result as well. But before we start looking, classicwatch25.great/site.net is where people can carry on looking at Classic Watch 25. You'll see there that the site now really is starting to fill out. We've got USA, UK trained horses, Irish trained horses, all on the site after last week's classics. To go with the Australian trained, the Japanese horses as well, that were already on the site. classicwatch25.great/site.net is where people will be able to find all these horses. Now we can take a look at the race at Randwick and see what we think. This is the 2024-25 Australian Derby.
18 to run here in the Australian Derby, and the filly Aliana favourite, they're off and racing. She hopped out well. Plymouth handled the start quite nicely as well. Being sent forward there sits a pass, and will he do it? Not too far away. A Mustang Morgan is striding forward on the outside, so there's a few having a bite for the lead, and it's Plymouth pressing on with Mustang Morgan the outside. King of Thunder holding a prominent role together with Aliana, and just caught a little bit deep. Sits a pass 3 wide in the early part. Will he do it? Gets onto his back. They're followed then by Autumn Moreau in the middle of the ruck with Shanwar down on the rails. Further back to the Doctor of Love, 3 wide around Golden Century. Firm agreement right up along the rails. A length and a half then to Burn and Win on the inside of pocketing. Now Gold Rush Guru taken back and switches off in the quite nicely really, Gold Rush Guru. In advance at Kasuki, then Flying Argento, Imperialist and Confetti Garden is last. So Plymouth heads the Derby field up to the back. Out by 3/4 to Mustang Morgan. King of Thunder a lot closer today. So's Aliana, and Sitsa passes on a wide path. They're followed by Shanwar down on the rails. Now will he do it's wider out, but looks to have a bit of cover there Willie. Up on the outside of Audemaroa. Further back then to Firm Agreement, Golden Century. The Doctor of Love out 3 wide, but right on the back of Willie. Further back in the race to Burn and Win. Then came Pocketing from Confetti Garden. Well back Gold Rush Guru, Kasuki, Flying Ogetto, and Imperialist is last of all, about 16 off the lead. So it's Plymouth at the 1,000, a half in front to Mustang Morgan. Then came King of Thunder, very well positioned on the inside of Oleana. Sitsapass has been wide from the start, so's Willie Do It, but it looks as though Mickey D is starting to take closer order here on the Kiwi. Chamois right there on the fence as they race inside the 700 now, and Plymouth just in front of Mustang Morgan. Oleana is poised to pounce. She's peeling 3 wide, laying it down to the leaders now. King of Thunder slipping right up on the inside. Chamois taking a rails run, and Willie Do It's under plenty of pressure as they turn, and Plymouth swings in front from the filly Oleana, who strides up boldly on the outside, and Oleana now takes the lead to the 300, beating off Plymouth. Chamois, King of Thunder on the rails. Further back to Willie Do It and Firm Agreement. Oleana 175 out, 2 lengths clear from Willie Do It. Firm Agreement, but she's really opening up now, Oleana, and the filly's going to destroy them in the Derby. Oleana, different class. Boy, she towed the boys up by 5. Firm Agreement, I think, second, just in front of Chamois. Close up on the outside, Willie Do It. Then King of Thunder. Further back, Audemaroa from Pocketing. Plymouth, the Doctor of Love. Then came Gold Rush Guru, Sitsapass, Kasuki, Flying Ogetto, Burn and Win, Imperialist, Confetti Garden, and Mustang Morgan. Wow, she is different class. The filly Oleana, not many can do it. Wow. So close in the run as well. Damien Lane riding so well.
What a performance there. It's fair to say, from the flying filly, Oleana, who, in my view, had been quite unlucky not to take out at least one, of these Australian Classics beforehand, finishing runner-up in 2 occasions in the Classics we've already looked at in previous videos. She was definitely second behind Broadsiding in the Guineas over 10 furlongs before this. That's a Classic Watch 25 possible Broadsiding. And she also might have chased home Lady Shenandoah as well when she took out her Australian Classic as well for the site. But yeah, Van Wyck, Australian Derby, no doubt at all about the winner here. First place, Oleana, ridden by Damien Lane, trained by Chris Waller, sired by Castle Vecchio out of a dam called Timoli, who herself was sired by Star Witness. Oleana won by 5 1/4 lengths, running to a Racing Post rating of 115. Second place, you have a look there, the next one's all home. The first 6, 8, 9, the first 10 home, 9 home after her, were all geldings. You know, Australians love a gelding in a Classic. Second place was Firm Agreement, trained by Annabelle Neesham and Rob Archibald, ridden by Tyler Schiller, sired by Yes 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 out of a dam called Money Magic. That horse ran to a figure of 108. And in third place, we had Chamois, the New Zealand bred horse, sired by Too Darn Hot out of a dam called Lady Saida. She was ridden by Blake Shin and trained by Kieran Marr and ran to a mark of 108. Very interesting race. It was good to see the filly, Oleana, gets her first Classic victory, and it was also good to see all the geldings absolutely battered by her. The first colt home was previous Classic winner Gold Rush Guru, who came back in 11th place. The American Pharaoh sired colt. It's some of the troubles we're having with these Australian races. They do love a gelding, and I will never bring a gelding onto Classic Watch. Classic Watch is all about stallions, colts, and Classics. In my view, geldings, there's no place for geldings in Classics at all. Unfortunately, there just isn't. So the next race we're going to take a look at was a week after. And this race, again, took place at Randwick. Again, I'm struggling to remember what the race was called. The race was unoriginally was called the Australian Oaks, and it took place a week after the race we've just seen. the Australian Derby again at Randwick. So what we can do is we can take a look at this race now, the Australian Oaks, and see what we think. And we will do that now.
And there's the light. And we're ready to run now in the Australian Oaks. The two favourites drawn 2 and 1 in the rough and racing now. And Sun and Sam was about the first out. Treasure the moment right there. Like a Lucy holding a spot. Ella Hazel's going forward. Verona Rose jumped to right but being snagged back, and Dubai Gold Rush is slicing through the pack. You Wang the fence, followed by Belle de Terre, and a couple off to Matrimonial. Sun and Sand takes the lead clearly now, turning out of the straight. Zipped about 2 or 3 lengths in front. Ella Hazel strides to second. Treasure the moment third. Now You Wang, they were vacating the fence there, so You Wang's gone through on the inside. Now pulling is Belle de Terre, and Like a Lucy drawn barrier 1 is now 3 wide in the early stages of the Oaks, looking to slot in. They're followed then by Verona Rose down on the rails from Dubai Gold Rush, and 2 lengths away to Matrimonial last of all. So Sun and Sand 3 in front at the mile mark from Ella Hazel. Then Treasure the Moment going to third on the outside of You Wang. And Like a Lucy, McDonald got in now, and he's right on the coattails of the hot favourite Like a Lucy, the New Zealand Oaks winner. And here's a fun fact: she's a daughter of Darren, who won the Arrowfield Sprint here some 8 years ago. And Like a Lucy right on the tails there of the short prize favourite. Back third last in the race, Dubai Gold Rush from Verona Rose, and Matrimonial is the last one. 1,200 to go. Sun and Sand in front for Alicia Collett by a length and a half to the big roughie of the field, Ella Hazel, followed by You Wang in third. A length further back, Treasure the Moment, looking to capture the Oaks double. Then Belle de Terre has been a touch keen in the run, and she's midfield on the fence. 3/4 the outside Like a Lucy. Then Verona Rose, Dubai Gold Rush, and the roughie Matrimonial last of all. So Sun and Sand at the 800 metres, no change to the order. Out by a length and a half to Ella Hazel, then You Wang. Treasure the Moment, brilliantly positioned, followed by Belle de Terre, and Like a Lucy. Now McDonald starts to rev her up a little bit, and she's peeling wider coming to the turn. Sun and Sand shows the way by a length and a half to Ella Hazel. You Wang. Now Treasure the Moment in the white cap is 4 out, and 5 outers. Like a Lucy making a good strong run into the straight now. Sun and Sand shows the way by a length or so on You Wang. Treasure the Moment, Like a Lucy. Ella Hazel is still there. 250 to go. Sun and Sand and You Wang. Treasure the Moment and Like a Lucy. They're both starting to knuckle down now. In the centre, Treasure the Moment. She's really lifting. Sun and Sand in front, but Treasure the Moment captures the moment. Another big win, claiming the Oaks double. Treasure the Moment knocked off Sun and Sand, You Wang and Like a Lucy. Then Belle de Terre. Further back, Verona Rose, Ella Hazel, Dubai Gold Rush, and Matrimonial. She digs in deep. It was a race today. It was a race. But Damien Lane knew what he had underneath her, and she's lifted and got up in the closing stages to roll the 50 to 1 pop Sun and Sand. Treasure the Moment, her third Group 1, an Oaks double.
Again, what a superb performance there by another Chris Waller trained horse, Treasure the Moment. The name of the horse. I think that horse was the winner of he was referring to an Oaks double there, the commentator. I think there was a race in at Flemington earlier at the Crown Oaks that I think the horse also won. But the horse certainly won the Asahi Super Dry Australian Oaks, held at Randwick on the 12th of April. Trained by Matt Lorry, not Chris Waller, ridden by Damien Lane, sired by Alabama Express out of a dam called Draconic Treasure, who herself was sired by Street Cry. The horse Treasure the Moment ran to a Racing Post rating of 116. Second place, the 50 to 1 shot, trained by Barbara Joseph, Paul and Matt Jones, ridden by Alicia Collett, Sun and Sand. Sired by Pride of Dubai out of She's a Rainbow, who herself was sired by Reduced Choice. She ran to a mark of 112, as did Yu Wang, who was third, trained by Chris Lees, ridden by Craig Williams, sired by So You Think, out of a dam called Wangwa, who was out of Casino Prince. She also ran to 112, with the New Zealand Oaks winner, Like a Lucy, trained by Chris Waller, racing to a mark of 111. in fourth place. So of a good effort there, I think it's fair to say, by Treasure of the Moment to take out the Crown Oaks and the Randwick Oaks. Congratulations to her. And while the Australian horses moved theatre from New South Wales to South Australia, we can check into Japan for the first Japanese Classic of 2025, a race that took place on the 13th of April. Classic Watch 25 threw plenty of horses at it. 5 fillies were identified by the site ahead of the Japanese 1,000 guineas, as the site really did try to get off to a good start. The race was held over a mile at Hanshin in Japan, and we can take a look at that race now, I think, and see what happened.
Of the Japanese Okusho, the Japanese 1,000 guineas, they're set, they're ready, they're off and racing. Erica Express blew the lid straight out the front. Beautiful start from her. Then comes Shonan Xanadu with Bon Soiree. Twilight City's up there, the inside Voulez-Vous. Mistress goes on with Dancer Aloud, Kurano May. Number Claro's out wide. In behind them, Vip City. Followed back to the inside by Embroidery. Got a check there, Dancer Aloud. Followed by Marpuse. Well back, Order Gerbera on its outside. Going forward, Ama Veloce. Gee, Dancer Aloud's lost a lot of ground and goes well back. Then further back, Churbiato on its outside, Primzal. Second last at the moment, Brown Ratchet. The tail of the field is Lynx Tip. Down the side they run in the Okusho for 2025. And the favourite, Erica Express, shows toe and leads out from Kurano May. Running third, Namara Clara. Shonan Xanadu, the rail, followed by Bon Soiree. Out wider, Mistress. In between runners, Vip Daisy. Back to the inside, Voulez-Vous. Then comes Water Gerbera. Party starting to pick up is Embroidery. Now out wide, peeling out is Lynx Tip. Gamuro's taken it 6 or 7 wide. They swing for home. It's still Erica Express. Where's Ama Veloce? Starting to come on now. Run down the middle of the track with Vip Daisy and Lynx Tip out wide. Eric Express is about to be flooded by Embroidery. Ama Veloce coming as well. Ama Veloce, Embroidery go past Erica Express. It will be Ama Veloce and battling it up with Embroidery. Embroidery fights back the inside. Embroidery, Joe Moreira, another Group 1. He takes it out. Embroidery, Ama Veloce, Lynx Tip third, then Marpuse late when it was all over, followed by Churbiato, then came Primzal, back to the inside, Erica Express, followed by Brown Ratchet, then came Voulez-Vous. In behind them was coming on late, or picking up late, Vip Daisy, then came Water Gerbera, Kurano May, well back was Twilight City, Bon Soiree knocked up with Shonan Xanadu, Namara Clara, Dancer Elan, and the last one in, Mistress.
Embroidery and Joe Moreira take out the Okusho.
Again, absolute privilege to be able to bring these races to you, especially when they are won by a Classic Watch 25 horse, which was the case here in this race, as Embroidery managed to take out the Classic for my own website, Classic Watch 25. Last year I identified the Japanese 1,000 guineas winner Stellenbosch after it won the race. So a massive honour to be able to identify it before it won the race. This year, Embroidery, sired by Admire Mars out of a dam called Rottenmeier, who herself was sired by Kurafun, trained by Kazutomo Mori and ridden by João Moreira, the Magic Man from Brazil. She managed to win the race by a neck from Ama Veloce, sired by Harbinger, out of Rakuami, who herself was sired by Daiwa Major, trained by Hiroyuki Uemura and ridden by Miral Iwata. Third place, Lynx Tip, sired by Kitasan Black, out of a dam called Dance with Kitten, who was sired by Kitten's Joy, trained by Matsuyuki Nishimura and ridden by Mirko Di Muro. Very interesting race. Classic Watch 25 actually had 2 in the first 5. It also identified the favourite, Erica Express, sired by Epiphania, out of a dam called Enticed, who was sired by Galileo. She managed to finish 5th, trained by Haruki Sugiyama and ridden by Keita Tusaki. So yeah, embroidery taking out the first Japanese Classic of the year for Classic Watch 2025, the third winner of the for the site so far, following the two in Australia. What we can do is we can take a look at all of the Classic Watch horses, see if there's got any entries coming up. We'll obviously start with the winner, Embroidery. No predicted entries at this stage for Embroidery, who has won 4 out of her 6 starts. The next one we need to take a look at is Brown Ratchet, who is the sister to Forever Young, the Saudi Arabia Cup winner. Brown Ratchet actually finished 9th in the race, and there is no entries for her as well. She has won 2 out of 4 starts at the moment. Mistress, a horse of ours that is looking quite exposed really compared to some of the others, sired by Kizuna out of a dam called Cherokee Maiden, sired by Distorted Humour, owned by Shinji Maeda, trained by Yoshito Yahagi. Mistress, unfortunately, only managed to finish 17th and last place as the 14th favourite for this race, and you'll see that she has already run since in the listed Hyogo Championship, where she could only finish 7th as the 5th favourite in out of JOR Company, back in to NAR Company. She's only won 1 out of 7 starts. I would say Mistress is probably the most exposed horse we're following out in Japan at the moment. The favourite, Erika Express, another one sired by Epiphania, as I said. This horse is a very lightly race. She's won 2 out of her 3 starts. Unfortunately, she can only finish 5th in the Japanese 1,000 guineas after winning the Group 3 Fairy Stakes in January 2025. No entry for her as of yet as well. And the last one was Shonan Xanadu, sired by Kizuna out of Misueno. Again, Shonan Xanadu could only finish 10th in the Japanese 1,000 guineas as the 6th favourite. She's won 2 out of her 7 starts, including not many victories. She won the Hochihai Finish Review Group 2 race in March 2025 to book her place on the site. And she is one entered in the NHK Mile Cup, which I think is this Saturday for 3-year-olds. So we've got the one entry coming up from the Classic Watch horses, Shonan Xanadu, from the Japanese 1,000 guineas, taken out by Classic Watch 25 horse, Embroidery. A week after that, it was the turn of the colts out in Japan in the Japanese 2,000 guineas, a race which I must remember is held over 10 furlongs, 1 mile, 2 furlongs, as opposed to the mile of the fillies race that we just looked at, and pretty much every other guineas in the world is a mile. The Japanese doing their own thing, racing their guineas horses over 1 mile and 2 furlongs. Life kind of took over at this stage for me. Unfortunately, I had to move house a few times. It's very disturbing time for myself. And I can only get 1 colt on the site, Classic Watch 25, and that was a horse that had won as a 2-year-old, Croix du Nord, the winner of the Hopeful Stakes at 2. There were obviously others I would have liked to bring to the site. I think there was 4 that I'd identified, but unfortunately, with life taking over, I just wasn't able to find the time to bring the horses to the site, unfortunately, which was sometimes life does take over, and it is what it is. So we went into the race with just the 1 horse identified for us, all our eggs in 1 basket, and the horse went off the odds-on favourite on the day, red-hot odds-on favourite, the horse called Croix du Nord. What we can do is we can take a look now at the Japanese 2,000 guineas and see what we think of it.
And Magic Sands completes the line in the Satsuki show for 2025. The red light on, they're off and away, and the crowd roar, and it's a pretty good start by all the runners. Magic Sands, the widest of all, Faust Rasen as well. But over on the far side, it's Juta that leads out. Juta with Pico Chan Black. And then with Pikachu Black, GT Adamon, but they passed the winning post the first time. Quadranor is into a lovely handy position in about fourth at the moment on the outside. Dragon Boost, Nishino Agent comes next with Giovanni, and then comes Museum Mile under Joe Moreira going forward. Then is Dragon Boost, Eddie King, Satano Shining, Masquerade Ball is next. Then in behind Calamatianos comes next. Then Fukuno Blue Lake, Vincentio, DMM Dream Club colours on King Score. Faust Rasen now circling the field as he's done before. The last of all, Magic Sands and Aloy as they head down the back straight now, and it's Pikachu Black that's taken over. Pikachu Black it is, and Faust Rasen the one that's circling the field again as they head down the back straight. They've got about 900 metres left to race now as they come back into view. Faust Rasen it is from Aloy Ali that's gone up into second place. Pikachu Black there as well as they head up at the top end now, and then comes Juta with GT Adam on Dragon Boost. Then Quadranor asked to get closer now, but looks to have no trouble at all. Satano Shining is next. Then comes Nishino Agent, Museum Mile, and then comes Eddie King. Giovanni Vincentio is well back with Calamatianos, Magic Sands, and well back is Dragon Boost and King Scroll as the 18 Colts now turn for home in the Satsuki show, and Faust Rasen still has it from Juta, but here's Quadranor, and what an exciting prospect this horse is, but he's got a bit of company here with Museum Mile and Satano Shining, and Museum Mile goes up to Quadranor and takes it over now under Joe Moreira. Museum Mile wins it from Quadranor, Masquerade Ball, then came Satano Shining, Giovanni next, then Magic Sands behind Magic Sands, and then in behind came King Squall from Vincentio, Calamatianos, Eddie King, Loia Ali came next with Nishino Agent, then Giovanni behind Giovanni, and then Dragon Boost, Fukuno Blue Lake, Faust Rasen, and that's about the way they finish in the Satsuki show for 2025, and Joe Moreira scores another Group 1 win on Museum Mile.
3 Group 1s this campaign for Joe Moreira, and he gets up on a Sunday racing horse.
Very good ride again there from the Magic Man, Joe Moreira, to take out a Japanese Guineas double. It's fair to say he also won the Japanese 1,000 Guineas on embroidery. Good performance there by Museum Mile, which actually a horse that went off the favourite for one of the big Group 1 2-year-old races last season, that has managed to take out the Satsuki show, the Japanese 2,000 Guineas held at Nakayama over 1 mile and 2 furlongs. Again, the racing post, rather like the Japanese race, choosing not to rate this horse race at all. They don't know anything about Japanese racing, that's why. So the winner, Museum Mile, sired by Leontes, out of a dam called Museum Hill, who was sired by Heart's Cry, trained by Datsuki Takayanagi, and ridden by the Brazilian Magic Man again, João Moreira, to land the Guineas double. Second was the odds-on favourite and Classic Watch 25 horse, Croix du Nord, sired by Kitasan Black out of Rising Cross, who finished fourth in the UK Oaks, sired by Cape Cross. That horse trained by Takashi Saito and ridden by Yuichi Kitamura. And third place was Masquerade Ball, sired by Duramente, out of a dam called Maskoff, sired by Deep Impact, legendary Japanese horse. Another one trained by Takahisa Tezuka and ridden by Takeshi Yokoyama. Like I said, the only horse that we managed to get on Classic Watch 25 ahead of the race was Croix du Nord. So we'll see if he's got any entries up. Croix du Nord, no predicted entries as of yet for a horse that has won 3 races out of 4 starts. That was, in fact, his first defeat in the Japanese 2,000 Guineas. Very nice horse, the winner. In fact, if life hadn't have taken over, it would have been the 4th horse put on to a classicwatch25.great/site.net ahead of the race. Unfortunately, rather like Stellenbosch last year, this horse will probably be sneaked onto the site after the race, and we will hope to see the horse go well if it is entered, if we know it's entered, in the Japanese Derby, which I think is at the end of May 2025. Around that, the can't remember the 10, not the 10-0 show. What's the race called? The the Usain Himba. I think the Tokyo Usain, and there's a fillies race as well for the Oaks around the same time, which will be the next time we take a look into the Japan Classics. We're going to end the video now, as we said, with a quick trip back to Australia, and we're going to head to another arena, South Australia, one we haven't seen in any 2024/25 Classic Race videos yet. Morphettville is the name of the track, the main track in South Australia. And the first race we're going to take a look at is a race for fillies called the Australasian Oaks, which took place at Morphettville on the 20th, I think, of April. Let me just check. No, sorry, the 26th of April was in fact the date for the Australasian Oaks. And we will be able to take a look at Morphettville for the first time in this series now and watch the race. And we'll then take a look at the result and see what we think.
Set in the Australasian Oaks and racing. Benazil, pretty slow away. She's going to settle back towards the tail as most expected. Cavity Bay, one of the first to appear. Phenom's also got some good speed with Beautiful Jewel, and Two Darn Lizzie's whipping up around them. All Kinds of Folk is also going forward with Cinch, and so too Comanche Miss as they settle fully into stride. There's plenty of pace on, and Two Darn Lizzie has it at the mile by 3/4 of a length. Cinch has gone to second. Comanche Miss much closer today in third. Phenom settles down fourth. Two back, Beautiful Jewel. 3/4 Cavity Bay. 1.5 further back to Wolfest from Georgie, Sweltering, and then Feminile. All Kinds of Folks at the 1200 metres is about 10 lengths from the speed. A length away, Pellavecchio from Benazil, fourth last. Pelimnia's third last. Half away to Horizons, and two back last of all is Moving Out. And Moving Out's 16 lengths off Two Darn Lizzie. Two Darn Lizzie for Gay and Adrian leads 3/4 to Cinch. The pace has been solid. There are a couple of lengths on Comanche Miss on the outside of Phenom. Cavity Bay's had a good trek in the race with Beautiful Jewel. 2.5 to Wolfest, then Georgie, Sweltering, Feminile, All Kinds of Folk, Pellavecchio, Benazil still 9 off them with Pelimnia. And then a length and a half to Moving Out, and Horizons last of all. Business Time in the Australasian Oaks. And Two Darn Lizzie, 2 lengths under a good hold, shows the way. Cinch is under pressure. Getting past her now as they race up to the bend is Comanche Miss with Wolfest, and then All Kinds of Folk, Beautiful Jewel, Cavity Bay, Feminile. Benazil's cruising up wider out, and so too is Moving Out. Benazil quickly raced up at the 220, took the lead. Comanche Miss, Cavity Bay, then Moving Out. Further back, Two Darn Lizzie and Feminile. Benazil at the 100, clear from Cavity Bay. Getting out late, Pelimnia, but Benazil, the gods have spoken. Benazil wins the Australasian Oaks. Pelimnia or Sweltering for the Miners with Cavity Bay Moving Out, and Feminile close up, then Pellavecchio. Next in a tiring Two Darn Lizzie, followed at the head of the others by Wolfest, who finished in the second part of the field in company with a tiring Phenom, Comanche Miss, Georgie, and then All Kinds of Folk beat 1 or 2 home. Cinch has pulled up towards the rear.
Again, what an interesting race that was, really. The Australasian Oaks was taken out in fine style, I think, by Benazil. I don't think there was much fluke about that. She came through strong at the end, a race over 10 furlongs and not a mile and a half. The Australasian Oaks held at Morphettville. And you'll see there that the winner was Benazil, trained by Glenn Thompson and ridden by Mark Zara, sired by Manhattan Rain out of a filly called Des Moines, who is out of War. Benazil ran to a racing post rating of 112, which is the sort of racing it takes to win an English listed race. Unfortunately, some of these Australian classics outside of Victoria and New South Wales are what they are. Second home was Sweltering at odds of 200 to 1, sired by Two Darn Hot out of a dam called Daring, who is out of Encosta de Lago. That one was trained by Trent Pursutin and Natalie Young and ridden by Ethan Brown, running to a racing post rating of 109. And in third place was Pelimnia, a filly sired by Dundeel out of Moosal, sired by Fastnet Rock, trained by John O'Shea and Tom Charlton, and ridden by Jamie Mellum, nay Carr. Also running to a Racing Post rating of 109. Good performance there by Benegill to take out the first South Australian Classic. Again, our fillies, they proved to be, with Lady Shenandoah dominant, choosing not really to take in any races after she won the All-Aged Classic for us in the last video. You know, I was hoping to see horses like Snitson Over try and run in some of these to get on the side, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. So a very interesting race nonetheless. As was the final classic we're going to take a look at Morphettville, the South Australian Derby. This race was run a week after, on the 3rd of May. But again, the race was run at Morphettville. So we will be able to take a look at this race now, and then we will be able to see what we think.
Statuario favourite racing now in the Derby. Statuario left okay here. Dubai, I should say, Global Eclipse goes forward early. Dubai Focus out wide is pressing forward as well. So it's going to be Global Eclipse and Dubai Focus. The speed slow. Rocktave is third. Snoopy Now's handy with Dark and Confidential. Lavalier closer to the inside. We have Scintillante and Statuario. So the leader early is Global Eclipse. As they come back into our view, now tackled by Dubai Focus. So Dubai Focus takes over from Global Eclipse and Rocktave is up to third. Compressing is fourth and Snoopy Now's fifth. Then came Saint Emilion and deep out on the track, Lavalier continuing to press forward. Back on the inside, then came the favourite Statuario, three back the inside from Dark and Confidential. Gold Rush Guru's three deep and exposed here, but is pressing forward. Further back in the field, Scintillante shuffled back from Cavity Bay. Then Confetti Garden. Well back in the field, Familia. Second last in the field was American Wolf, and about 3 lengths away last of all was Captain Hillfigure. So Gold Rush Guru, he was caught wide, and the Victorian Derby winner is Let Slide now, and it's Gold Rush Guru out on top. Rocktave is second and Dubai Focus is back into third position. Lavalier gets into a trailing position fourth. Two back then on the outside is Saint Emilion. It's covering up, compressing the inside. Then came Snoopy Now, the Port Adelaide Guineas winner, back in about seventh. Behind those then we've got further back then Saint Emilion. Underneath of it then came the favourite, and that of course is Statuario. It's still back on the fence. Then came around the outside Dark and Confidential. Further back in the field then Scintillante. A length away in the field then on the inside Familia. Well back on the outside of the track we got Confetti Garden with also Cavity Bay, American Wolf and Captain Hillfigure last of all. So it's Gold Rush Guru here in the Derby about to go for home. Led by two to Rocktave second, Dubai Focus third. Then came Lavalier trying to get to the outside here is Global Eclipse. It's starting to chime in now. Further back on the field came Snoopy Now. It's Gold Rush Guru here in the Derby leading the way. It gets away by 2 lengths here. Out wide Global Eclipse is running on and snatching runs the inside Familia. It's making ground along the inside. It's out after Gold Rush Guru. Familia takes the lead now from Gold Rush Guru. They're clear of Lavalier. Now getting out Statuario's flying home. Familiar's in front. Statuario's grinding home. Familiar is in front. Statuario's running out of time. And it's Familiar. Familiar wins from second placing Statuario. Third, Lavalier, I think. In a photo, Cavity Bay was there with also not far away Scintillante. They'll come back into my view shortly. Further back then came behind those, knocking up quickly, was Rocktave from Confetti Garden. Dubai Focus compressing Snoopy Now. Dark and Confidential well back in the field, clocking in next Global Eclipse, and Captain Hillfigure back at the rear.
Again, what an interesting race that was. The South Australian Derby. For a minute there, I remember watching the race live, I thought, the favourite's got this, the favourite's going to get up, Statuario. But unfortunately, he didn't. Yeah, I don't know. And still to this day, I can't quite work out how that jockey did not win that race, but he didn't. And the race was what it was, the South Australian Derby, a race that's only just taken place. So the Racing Post unsure of their position in South Australia at the moment. So they will choose rather not to give an opinion on this race. Again, this race was interesting for the geldings as well. Geldings seem to be very prevalent in Australian classics, but luckily the winner was a filly. Feminile was the winner, trained by Philip Stokes, ridden by Lachlan Neindorf, sired by Dundeel out of a dam called Femme Fireball, who was sired by Piero. No Racing Post rating, unfortunately. And then we've got to take a look. The next 3 home were all geldings, including the second horse, Statuario, the favourite, trained by Emma Lee and David Brown, and trained by Emma Lee and David Brown. That's why it lost. It had 2 people riding it. Trained by Emma Lee and David Brown and ridden by John Allen, sired by D'Argento out of a dam called Miss Entice, who was sired by Dash for Cash. And third home, the Jason Cummings trained gelding for Godolphin and Lavalier, ridden by Jamie Mellon, sired by Microphone out of a dam called Accessories, who is out of Singspiel. Again, after that, he got another gelding in 4th, a filly in 5th. The first colt home again was an admirable colt, really. Our old mate, Gold Rush Guru, turned up again in the South Australian Derby this year, the American Pharaoh sired colt, to finish in 6th place, trained by Andrew Gluyas and ridden by Jason Holder. And then again, you see, it was a plethora of geldings after him. You know, I mean, we're running a site called Classic Watch, trying to identify the best stallions and fillies in horse racing worldwide, and Australia keep deciding to run horses that people can't even breed from in classics. I don't think I've seen anything as counterproductive as that in my time in horse racing, really. To me, I'll ban geldings from all pattern races. And I've said that a few times. Feminile, the winner there of the last classic we are taking a look at in this video. Thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to join me in this video. It's very much appreciated. The classic reviews are the sort of thing that I imagine will be ongoing throughout 2025. We've just had a batch of 4 classics, 2 in Europe and 2 in America at the beginning of May. So I imagine that they will be starting in the next classic review video. We've also got 2 more Australian classics on the horizon as Australian racing moves to Queensland. It's also the French 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas this coming weekend, on the 11th of May. And then we're looking at the middle distance classics then. We've got Derby trials already taking place in the UK this coming week. We've got the Irish 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas on May the 24th. 2 more Japanese classics. Plenty happening, it's fair to say. Right, I'm going to leave this video here now. Thank you very much to everybody who's taken the time to watch it. What I will do is I will leave a copy of the Classic Watch 25 playlist, so people will be able to see all the classic reviews that have been done on the channel so far. I think this is the 3rd of the year. Obviously, with the Australian racing starting in 2024 in August, we had to start a bit earlier. So the first 2, I think, are mainly Australian classics. This one, of course, featuring some Japanese action as well. What I will also do is I'll leave a copy to everybody, so everybody who has watched this video and hasn't subscribed to the channel, I will give you all an option to subscribe so you don't miss any more content moving forward. Hopefully this week we will be focusing on getting maybe the first 1 or 2 French-based horses on the site ahead of the French 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas this coming weekend. Plenty of action to come. But for now, I will leave this video here. Thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time to watch it. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care of yourselves and take care. Goodbye.